What's going on, everybody? Today we're doing a video that I've been meaning to do for a long time and I've been wanting to do for a long time. That is my entire guitar collection. 2025, I'd say. I mean, I hopefully might acquire more guitars throughout the year. All of the guitars that I've got since I started playing guitar up until now. Obviously I have some that I've let go throughout the past and whatnot, but I'm just gonna dabble into each story behind them and my personal experience and why I got the guitar and why I still have them, why I like them. Just all the typical YouTuber guitar collection kind of stuff. A few people I've seen in the comments ask me to do this kind of video. I don't want to keep the intro super long. We're gonna go right into it. But basically throughout all of my videos you can see guitars in the background and whatnot, and I just kind of wanted to touch on them because they do all have a special meaning to me, and it's not just the Stratocasters that I use like you see in most videos. So how we're gonna run it through is this is just gonna be a super casual video, not a lot of editing other than like throwing up old pictures of me with the guitars that I've parted with. How I'm gonna order the collection for the video is we're gonna go from guitars I've had the longest, so from the start of my journey all the way until like the actual new ones that I've just most recently acquired. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. The first one I know might be a bit boring, but it's an acoustic guitar and we're gonna talk about that in a second. As you can see, this is a El-Degas 1980 or 1970, I don't know the exact year. Acoustic guitar. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, someone can correct me in the comments, that this was a lawsuit kind of style Martin guitar that El-Degas was making for a while. I don't know if they actually have them in production anymore. As you can see here, it might not autofocus, or it actually might. Wow, I got a new camera, so. But yeah, I mean, the model is MT4N, made in Korea. And this was the first guitar that I ever got. If you watched my 5-year guitar progress video, you'd see this one was in there quite a bit, along with my first electric guitar, which we'll get to after this. But this was my grandfather's guitar. He had kind of stopped playing since he acquired this, and when I first started wanting to learn guitar, I just grabbed it from his closet that was in his basement and been with me ever since. I learned all of my very first stuff on the guitar on here. The fretboard needs some hydrating, but I don't use it as much as I have a new acoustic guitar. But I don't know, it was a great first guitar, to be honest. Like, I've seen some of my friends or other people's first acoustic guitars or electric guitars where the action's like 400,000 years off the fretboard, but this one honestly isn't bad. I never had it set up since I got it. I just restrung it myself. This is the guitar I learned how to restring my own strings off of. And I know the actual like subscribers who watch every single video will appreciate this kind of video, and I don't expect it to like do well or anything, but I enjoy talking about my guitars as any guitar player does, and hopefully it connects with people here and just enjoy watching it while like eating dinner or something. I don't know. All right, let's move on to the next guitar. It's an electric guitar. It's my first electric guitar, and I don't think I've ever previewed it on the channel other than in the 5-year progress video, so let's get over into that. So this guitar I acquired the same year as my acoustic guitar, the one I just showed you. This has been sitting in my basement. It's a Peavey Raptor EXP, if you want to see the headstock. Yeah, I mean, there's cobwebs on it. I haven't used it in a long time, to be honest. I don't know what strings these are, but they're black. Every single part of where you would pick, you can just see all the wear. Like I put work into this guitar. I learned everything from Led Zeppelin's discography, like all their hits on this. I bought this off of somebody in high school, shout out Matthew. So yeah, this was my first electric guitar. And yeah, with that being said, we'll jump into the next few. The next few, I want to talk about 3 guitars before I get into the next one, because let me just put this guitar away first. I just want to talk about the 3 guitars that I own before getting this next one, and that was my Sunburst Epiphone Les Paul, my Squire Blue Telecaster. I don't even know the actual model because it was a Partscaster. I found that out later after I bought it. The Sunburst Epiphone was a gift from my parents. My 17th birthday, they surprised me. That guitar, I learned a lot of my stuff on. Like, I started dabbling in Van Halen. I was learning a lot of my Chili Pepper stuff at that point. I realized and did some research that Jimmy Page was also known on the first 2 Zeppelin albums for using a Telecaster. So I bought a Telecaster. It was a Squire Strat neck with a Warmouth blue body, if I'm not mistaken. So it was a Partscaster. The pickups were atrocious. If I have some videos, I'll put them up on the screen here, but man, like the way it played and everything was terrible, but I didn't know any better at the time, so I continued playing with it for a while until I realized, okay, I need to like step this up. So after I got rid of the Epiphone Les Paul, I had the Telecaster with me still. I'm gonna put a video here of the next guitar of me being surprised by my uncle by it real quick, and then we'll talk about it.
The one he brought is Marshall, so just play some music, right? So the amp and the cord is his, but the brown case is yours. And what's inside?
What?
You're joking.
No, go look.
I suggest you open it.
Yeah, it's for you.
Stop.
What?
What the hell is wrong with you guys?
yourself a gold top, man. Oh my god, man. So watch it doesn't fall. Thank you, Zio.
We didn't get this in
Oh my god.
I got surprised with this beautiful guitar. Thank you so much, Zio, if you're watching. But yeah, this was my first high-end guitar. It's a Gibson Les Paul Tribute. It has a nitro finish, so it doesn't have like that glossy finish that people see. Like there's a bunch of nicks on it. And the lighting might be tricky to see. But yeah, there's a bunch of nicks on this guitar as well. And there's some belt buckle rash in the proper lighting. But I mean, my parents and my family members saw the amount of work I was putting in on the guitar and the amount of progress I was making, so I guess it holds a special place in my heart, and it fucking rocks like any Gibson would. So fun fact, my uncle was in a band, the one who gifted me this. The guitarist in their band has the twin guitar to this, so I think it's like a couple serial numbers off. There's two of them. He has a gold top and I have a gold top. Jammed, I think 2 weeks ago together, and we both used the same guitar. It was a great time. So it kind of came like full circle. Tony's a great guy. You can check out their band, Tannery Row. They play like tribute blues stuff in Ontario here around Toronto. That's the Gibson Les Paul. And then after we sold the Telecaster, we picked up the Made in Mexico Candy Apple Red Strat, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure it was just a 2015 classic Mexican Strat, something like that, with rosewood. I had that paired with this. Those were my two main guitars at that point because I wasn't using the Peavey that I put on the wall there. But those were my two main ones that really carried me throughout my journey. The Candy Apple Red Strat and this beautiful Gibson Les Paul. Now at this point in my journey, I had the Mexican Strat and the Gibson Les Paul. I started learning more about not just playing guitar, but like the actual vibe you have when you become obsessed with it, like going into forums, finding about tone, pedals, amps, and all this kind of stuff. And I found out that, there's a big difference between Americans are like much, much better than the Mexican guitars. And so I went on Facebook right away and I was like, it has to be nitro, so I have my own relic on the guitars. For my own stuff, I love the Olympic White and the Fiesta Red. Now, I went on Facebook Marketplace right away. I sold the Mexican Strat and found a Highway 1 2004 Stratocaster in crimson red, which is my #1 to this day. I bought it in like mint condition, and then all the rest of the relic is just from me putting hours and hours and hours into this. This neck feels like home to me because my #1, and I pretty much played and learned everything. It sounds phenomenal, and just I have no words when I play this guitar. I feel at home. But yeah, all of the belt buckle rash that you kind of see on the guitar. There's a bunch of stuff on the top of the guitar too. I don't know if you'll be able to see a lot of it. But yeah, I adored this guitar. I love it so much. It's my #1, and I think it sounds the best for my own sound. So this guitar was actually a gift from my parents for my graduation. So I got pretty lucky, getting a Gibson and then a Highway 1 Strat. But so shout out to my parents for helping me out with my #1. I'll never forget it. And that being said, we'll get on to the next guitar, which has a weird story as well. So this next guitar I acquired a couple of months after I got my red one, I think like 2 or 3 months after. It was given to my dad because I guess my dad's friend from work or whatnot knew that I played guitar. And so he said, hey, I found this guitar in like a basement. I guess he was cleaning out a house for work. And he found a guitar and a bass, but because this is a guitar collection, we're not gonna touch on the bass. And my dad told him, yeah, my son does play. Why? And he said, well, I have a bunch of records, a bass, and an electric guitar if he wants it. So I said, sure. So it's this guitar here. It ended up it's an HSS Strat by Rocker. The inside of the neck, because I took the neck off when I first got it, said like the 80s or the 70s. But I don't know how much I believe that. I don't know if somebody put that there, but it definitely needs fret filing because the edges of the frets are kind of like hanging off the neck. And like a young kid, I was a little dumb and I just started like customizing the guitar because I knew it didn't have much value and I wanted to create my own sentiment towards the guitar. So for some reason, I decided to nail a piece of metal into the guitar here, if you could see it. And then I also did it might be hard to see, but you can see my last name with the 7. I just carved that in with the nail before I nailed it in. Back has my old band's name, 711, with our initials JSCR and JC. And then if you watched my 5-year progress video, you'd see a little bit of this. I don't want to get too much into it, but around April of 2023, unfortunately, our band member passed away, so I decided to give tribute to him. So I kind of decided to pay tribute and put his name with our band logo on our old band logo, at least on the headstock, a picture of all of us on the back of the neck, but I don't like talking about it too much anyways, so I just wanted to share that, and so I put it on the guitar so it lives on there forever through him because he was our guitarist from our band. And anyways, yeah, I don't play this much anymore. It kind of just sits in the corner of my room because it has some sentimental value, obviously, and I also played this at our band's first and last gig. I used it as an E-flat guitar. Anyways, okay, let's move on to the next guitar. We're going back to acoustics. It's my second and only other acoustic, so we'll touch on that quickly. So this is the best acoustic guitar I've ever played in my life. Tone-wise, feel-wise, sound-wise. For me, I've never played an acoustic guitar that's better. Being inspired by John, I wanted the mahogany look. And these are very hard to come by in my area on Facebook Marketplace, especially in a 00 size. Like there's the 000, single O, the Dreadnought, but the 00 size is quite hard to come by. And I find it perfect for not being super loud or too big where you can't like sit and play comfortably, but it's not too small where it sounds thin, but this is the perfect size for me. Yeah, to me, it just looks phenomenal, and I've played everything, just sounds phenomenal. It's well-rounded, it's warm, it's exactly what you want from a Martin. And then it has a passive pickup in here as well. So I can't really touch the volume or anything, I just plug it in and I control it from my amp. And it also sounds phenomenal for when I play gigs with Elisa at a bar or whatnot. So a Martin 0015M. So we got that acoustic guitar around the same time as my Maple Neck Strat. Eventually, I bought the next one that we're going to talk about off of Tony, who has the gold top Les Paul. So I've always wanted a hollow body style guitar, and because Tony leaves a lot of his guitars since they jam at my uncle's house in my uncle's basement, one day I came across this Morgan Monroe ES335 copy. He upgraded the stock pickups to Gibson, I don't know the exact model, but I think the custom shop pickup. He upgraded them to that with the gold hardware on everything. Looks beautiful, like you can't deny it. It's got that blonde finish, and you can see a lot of the flame in the wood, if that makes sense. You can see the cut right between the two pieces of wood. It's got a rosewood fretboard. The action is phenomenal, and he gave me a really good price on it, so I couldn't pass up on it. I borrowed it for a while, but I didn't have the money. It's from 2004, I believe, and not a lot of these were made. I think there were two colors, like a sunburst orangey color, and then this one, and there were about, if I'm not mistaken, no more than like 400 or 500 of them each. Very little information about it out there. To me, it's better than any 335 like by Gibson that I've played in a shop, because obviously it has all the hardware and everything. It's set up beautifully. This also holds a special place in my heart because it was my first hollow body guitar, and it's by somebody that is near and dear to me as well. So thank you, Tony. I forgot one last guitar before we get to the John Strat. I think a month after I got the ES335 style guitar, a company by the name of Fesley Guitars, they reached out to me and asked me to review a guitar, and this was, I think, about 3 or 4 months into doing my YouTube channel kind of full out and staying consistent with things. But when an entire company, even if it's like a lower end company, reaches out to send you a guitar, you know, you can imagine how it feels. And I was just super proud of myself for coming this far, even if it is a lower end guitar. It sits in my room and reminds me to keep going and stay consistent and post every single day, because you never know what can come out of it. Even for just posting like one short video, you have no idea who will see it and who it'll reach on the other side of the internet, since it's literally being plastered all over the world. It plays okay. It plays great for me. I did a full review on my channel if you want to check it out and hear all the tones. They had this as an option, and it does look like John's Les Paul with the white binding, so I took it in a heartbeat. And I have it tuned out to E flat, and I play all like my heavy stuff, like Alice in Chains and whatnot. That's all E flat, because the pickups are more like the EMG style pickups, the heavier kind of sound. And it's a very thin Les Paul, so it's a lot lighter. It was just the real first piece of gear that I was sent by a brand to review, and for that reason, you know, I'll never get rid of it, and it'll stay in my room to remind me to keep going during the times that I don't feel like posting. So that's this guitar, and now we're gonna get on to the second last guitar of the collection, which is the John Strat. I know a lot of people are waiting to hear about that, so we'll get into that shortly. So here we go. Here's the John Strat. So very similar story to the black guitar that we just talked about, the Fesley Les Paul. You never know who sees your videos when you post stuff on social media. That's why I'm such a big advocate for, if you have dreams to play guitar or just do anything in general, always share yourself out there in a smart way and like market yourself in a smart way, because you never know who's gonna see your videos. And a guy named Andrea reached out to me under the name of Gun Dust Guitars, who is my friend now and the singer in our Chili Pepper cover band here in Toronto. At this point, I was like, who the heck is Gun Dust Guitars? I've never heard of that brand. And lo and behold, I opened up the Instagram page, and he's got 2 custom John Frusciante guitars. He's got the custom Telecaster. He's got John's black Les Paul. Like, he has the entire pedal board that John uses, all the gear that you could think of. So he was looking for a guitarist to join his Chili Pepper cover band, and I said yes. As a lot of you know, I have a video on my channel about it, a couple videos I think now. But anyways, but for a while I was asking him, listen, you have 2 John Frusciante guitars, I want to buy one from you. And he was like, no, I'm not getting rid of one, blah blah blah. And then eventually, long story short, we negotiated a price when he was ready to get rid of one a couple months after that, and I said 100%, I'm taking it from you and I'm running. This is one of the best Strats I've ever played as well. It's an American 60s original series, and Andrea at Gun Dust Guitars did all of the relicking. I have an entire video about this guitar with up close shots of everything. It's fantastic. Obviously it's got the John tones, but yeah, there's not much else to say about this guitar. It sounds fantastic. I have a full review of it on my channel if you want to see it, and obviously this is going to hold a special place in my heart. And underneath here, you can't really see it because there's the back cover on it, but he has his initials in there, Gun Dust Guitars, JF Strat. 2007 era inspired. But yeah, with that being said, this is the second last guitar. We only got one more left to go. And like I said before, with most of the guitars, this is never leaving me. It's just gonna stay on my wall even if it came to that point. Because it's literally an art piece, but for most of my John Frusciante related videos, as well as my masterclass course that's coming out, so stay tuned for that. This will be featured in all of those videos as well, and is right up there with my red Strat. And yeah, let's get to the last guitar, which is also very, very important to me. So this is the newest of the bunch. Like, every time I look at it, I can't get over how stunning it looks. And like I mentioned before, when I was first looking to buy my first Stratocaster, the Olympic White and the Fiesta Red were the ones that caught my eye out of John's collection when I first saw them. But the Olympic White, I don't like the plain white guitars. Like, sometimes they're like actual white, but this has got a cream tint and off-white look to it. And this is the American Vintage 2 1961 in Olympic White. This is a 2024 model. I think the birth date of it was November 2024. So it's fresh out of the Fender shop, and I absolutely love it. I mean, I haven't done a review on it yet or anything like that, and it's only been in one of my videos so far, but there will be a lot more coming with this guitar. It's fantastic. My favorite part about it is the clay dot inlays, because on my John Strat and on my red Strat, they're white, and I just wish they had the aged look because it just matches the guitar so much better. I mean, it's not a pure nitro finish, but it's very similar to my Highway 1. I do love the pickups, but how I have it set up is a bit different towards those two guitars. Those two guitars I have set up kind of like John's, where the pickups are really, really low. But for these ones, I have these set up just a tad higher because I use this for more Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan sound. It's an E flat. So this was a gift from someone in my family as well. I mean, literally just blessed. I have just wonderful people in my family, very supportive, loving, caring people. But this was a gift as well. So, and this is one of the best Strats that I've ever played. Like I said, also never gonna leave my collection. These are my three main Strats. I mean, these two are more of my main Strats for my own personal playing, and then that one's just for the more John stuff because I'm obsessed with this stuff. So, and I don't know, to be honest, looking back at my journey, a lot has happened and a lot has come from it. And I think what took a rapid growth in my journey is putting myself out on social media. And I know it can be scary in the beginning, and it was scary. For a year I was posting on the Chili Pepper subreddit, and I was getting some feedback here, like, you should post your videos, blah, blah, blah. But I had always had this stigma that people in my hometown or from my high school and workplace are going to see my videos and judge them. But like, at the end of the day, it's just, who cares, to be honest. So I started doing that, and then as you can see, all these things start happening to you. You get sent stuff if you stay consistent with it, or even if that doesn't happen to you, you know, you're just putting yourself out there and you meet so many cool people like Andrea and the other guys in the band as well, Tyson and Noel. But hopefully in a year or two from now, we can do an entire new video with all the updated ones. And I see a lot of the content creators doing videos like this as well, so it kind of inspired me to do it as well. If you have any questions, you can shoot a message to me over on Instagram, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I also do one-on-one online lessons, so if you're interested in that, you can also shoot me a message on Instagram. I post a bunch of daily reels over on TikTok and Instagram. If you want more content, you can go follow me over there as well. It'd be much appreciated. And like I said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.